Hello. Okay, so I have just finished listening. It's an audiobook review. Listening for the third time, pretty much in a row, to a book called How to Beat Talent, Brains, and Education. It's by a guy called Arthur Williams, A.L. Williams. The guy is incredible. I mean, this is a guy who was a football coach making $10,000 a year in the 60s. And then he basically went out and he set up a business, and that business became the biggest business in the biggest industry in the US at the time. The biggest industry in the US at the time was insurance, and this guy's company beat the number one and two companies combined. And this was in an industry where there were 2,000 businesses. Now, this guy's company, and the business was such an old boys club, it was insurance. These were thousands and thousands of people selling stuff that was really bad for consumers, to consumers, because it paid them the most. They'd never buy the stuff themselves. All right. So, and you wonder why insurance people have a bad name, because they sell absolute crap to customers. This business was so entrenched, and being in the States, obviously, if you have money, you can do whatever you want. They were paying off, there were laws passed to make life difficult, to ban people from A.L. Williams' company from working in certain states, because the insurance companies had money, so it should pay off the government. It's the US, everything's for sale. But anyway, back to the book. The guy is hilarious. The guy comes out with a lot of gems, right? Business gems, and obviously the guy's business is very successful. If you look him up now on Google, he's worth like 1.5 billion or something. So he's done very, very well for himself. This was a football coach making $10,000 a year. I reiterate, there's a guy with two kids who's he always taking side jobs, so selling encyclopedias. He hated selling, he says, coaching basketball games, refereeing basketball games for an extra $12 or something. And then suddenly this guy gets to a position where I think at one point he said he's making $600,000 a month, and millions and millions and millions. So massive success story. But there are lots of massive success stories. What's nice about this guy is he built his success by going out and doing what he thought was right, and by doing what he thought was fair, which no one else in the industry was doing. But the consumers seemed to believe it, because he went out and did the right thing. He said he struggled for 10 years before he succeeded. He said the first 2 years, everything he touched turned to crap, his words. But really inspiring stuff. I mean, it probably helps that the guy used to be a football coach. So, it's a guy with a PE degree. And he grew, into one of probably the best self-made business success stories I've ever heard. It's incredible. This guy's company now has more people. At one point, when he was recording this, he said his company had more people earning over 100,000 than any other company, any other 10-year-old company in the world. And now there are people in that company, plenty of them, making millions, like one person who makes millions a year. But the way he tells it is so entertaining, it's so inspiring, it's so motivational, probably goes back to him being a coach, and it's really, really funny as well. So even if you're not interested in business, I'm not that interested in business, but I'm interested in people doing well. Even if you're not interested, just for comic value, just for motivation, if you like stuff like Tony Robbins or you like stuff like Jim Rohn, listen to this guy. He's superb. He's absolutely superb. I mean, it seems unfair to take his slogans and tell you, because this is a guy who did everything himself, who built everything himself, and all his success is based on, help other people to be successful. And he says, look, it's a mathematical formula. Let's say if you've got a business and you can do 10 sales a week, but you want to do 25,000 sales a week, how the hell are you going to do that by yourself? You've got to help other people to become just as successful as you, and maybe you take a percent off of that, and then your business is doing 20. Excellent book, brilliant book, audiobook, very, very strong. The guy's from Atlanta, I think, so very, very strong accent as well, which I kind of grew to like. Some of his sayings, and this is a saying I actually told my wife. My wife, she works way too hard. She's a teacher, so she has to. Teachers are probably the hardest working people anywhere, I'm sure I've just upset a couple of people in finance. Oh, I work hard. No, yeah, you do, but I don't know anybody but a teacher who could hack being a teacher. All right, but she was always, my wife was saying, oh, why can't I just turn off? Why is nothing's ever good enough? You do this really well, and then this challenge comes up, and then there's this child who's arrived from this country with no English, and they expect you to bring them up to level. Teachers work super, super hard. One of A.L. Williams' quotes is, and he said it took him 9 years to come up with this quote, and it's the greatest quote in business. And, thinking about it, I think it's not just business, it's a great quote for life, is all you can do is all you can do. And all you can do is enough. If you've tried your hardest and you've done your most, then you've done it. There's no point beating yourself up over it. Was it good enough? Did I do enough? So for business and for life, I thought that was an excellent quote. And there's another one in there, which I think applies to everything. He talks about how he struggled for 2 years. He had doors slammed in his face. He had no. He still kept going. And like I said, millions a year. People in his company, lots of them making millions a year. And he said what he realized was he was focusing on all the no's, but actually he had a big, thick book of clients who had actually been out to help. People who'd really help, not just sell insurance, but these. I mean, if you read into how the insurance industry used to operate, it's disgusting. Basically, just rip people off, sell them something that's going to do them no good, but makes you a lot of money, and then see you later. But you'd never buy that yourself. So even just for that perspective, it's an interesting one to listen to. I imagine it's actually more fun to listen to this book than it is to read, because you get the accent. His delivery and everything is really good as well. He's quite a comedian. The other quote that I got from this book was, "Inch by inch, it's a cinch." And he talks about all these years of struggle, but he kept going, and inch by inch, well, he ends up being, one of the most successful people there is. And that applies to everything. It applies to life. When you have a task, you think you want to try and achieve something that seems impossible, just do it a little bit every day, you'll get there. I think the example that's most relevant to me at the moment is probably weight loss, because I've got some weight to lose. So I used to go out for long runs, and I used to do high intensity cardio, and it's a load of bullshit because you can't keep it up. It's too difficult. It takes toll on your body. But to burn fat, you need to burn calories consistently, because unless you do it consistently, the type of numbers you need to burn, you want to lose 10 pounds of fat, you need to burn 35,000 calories. Is that 3,500 times up, 35,000 calories. How are you going to burn that with one long run? It's impossible, right? But if you just did 350 calories a day, in 100 days, you're there. Inch by inch, it's a cinch, and it applies to business, it applies to life, it applies to everything. I love the book. I'm actually listening to it now for a fourth time. I even ordered some other ones, which I started listening to. I thought, God, this guy's boring compared to Art. And just knowing it's a real life story. I mean, I know people in the company that Art set up, so I know it's a real thing. And it's just mind-blowing. It's really good. His advice applies to life, business, fitness, anything. It's just a great strategy that he's got. So I would thoroughly recommend, even just for motivation, anybody go out there and listen to How to Beat Education, Brains and Talent by A.L. Williams. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. There you go.